Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Canelo exposed by Bivol proudly presents some of the boxing games been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of Canelo exposed by Bivol subscribers. Now, this is a very, very, very sad day. I'm a little late on the video, but it's still a sad day. However you want to cut it up and slice it and dice it, man. Because this is a guy, when we talk about my favorite fighters of the last 10 to 15 years, or we'll even narrow it down. When we talk about my favorite fighters since I've been covering boxing here on YouTube for the last 7 years or so, one of the fighters that has made this channel what it is today, and one of the fighters that I really enjoyed covering the most in my time covering boxing was Kell Brook. And it looks like now Kell Brook has decided to hang the gloves up. There will be no more boxing for Kell Brook. There will be no more big nights for Kell Brook. He's officially announced his retirement at the age of 36 from the sport of boxing. I got a quote here, so I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to get my thoughts on Kell Brook and his career. So here's what Kell Brook said verbatim. He said, I quote, "My heart's no longer in it. I've got nothing left to prove. I had a long chat with my family. It is over for me. I'll never box again. It's a little emotional to be actually saying this out loud. My mom is relieved. I think everyone around me is pleased. The truth is, boxing is a very, very tough and dangerous sport, one in which you can be legally killed in the ring. I finished now with all my faculties intact." And then he said, "I like to be remembered as a fighter who would go in with anyone, fear to no one, and who gave the fans what they wanted to see." Then he wanted to say, let me see, he said, bear with me. His last quote in regards to Amir Khan and their fight, he said, I quote, "I needed the Khan fight. I needed to settle that grudge and the feud with him. There is no dark feeling left in me now. I think when you have been in the ring with someone, it passes. It leaves you." So those are the parting words for the special one, Sheffield's very own and the former IBF Welterweight champion of the world, Kell Brook. So where do I begin with Kell Brook's career? I mean, there's so many ways I can start this off, but I guess I'll say this. This is a fighter that, in my humble opinion, he had all the tools to be the next great dominant welterweight champion. In fact, there was a moment in time when he was the Ring Magazine #1 welterweight champion ranked, and a lot of people thought that he was going to be the next dominant welterweight champion pre-Golovkin. Okay, he had one of the best, most crisp jabs in the sport. He had an excellent right hand behind it, known as his chocolate brownie. So the foundation for Kell Brook was always that straight 1-2, and he had a great one. And as far as a prospect, I think the most memorable fights would be probably the Carson Jones fights that were very close. Carson Jones was a good veteran fighter that really pushed Kell Brook and gave him a lot to handle. Some people thought Kell Brook lost the first Carson Jones fight, but it was very close, and I thought he barely won. But he beat Carson Jones in the second fight, right? The first signature fight of Kell Brook's career was, and probably his, you could either say it's his finest hour or his second finest hour, but he beat Shawn Porter. He came to America, and he took the title from Shawn Porter, which is something that I think when people talk about his career, they don't really give it its just due, because Shawn Porter, I think, was undefeated at the time, or if he wasn't undefeated, he had a loss. He probably only had a loss, or he was undefeated, but it was something like that. Because people now try to demean Shawn Porter, saying everybody's beat, like all the big names have beaten Shawn Porter. But before Crawford fought him, in my opinion, the guy that beat Shawn Porter the best before Crawford fought him was Kell Brook. And he came from the UK, which is always difficult for British fighters to come to America. And he took the title back home, and then he defended it against a bunch of, mandatories like Bizier and Frankie Gavin and Jojo Dan and whatever. And then we know the story, like Eddie Hearn got him the GGG fight, and then he moved to the 160, and his career was never the same. Got the eye socket broken in that fight, got the eye socket broken in the Spence fight, the next fight, but he was boxing very well in the fight. And I still to this day think that if he never fought Golovkin and I fought Spence first, he would have beat Earl Spence. But one thing I'll say about Kell Brook, fuck the record. Boxing is about moments. It's about winning, obviously, and making money for yourself and carving out a great career. But for fans like myself and people that watch this channel, it's really about those moments that you give them. And when I think about Kell Brooks, I think about so many different moments in his career, from and him in the, what was it, the second round? I think it was the second round. Him in the second round of the Golovkin fight, trading with him in the middle of the ring, the whole O2 arena going crazy. He hit Golovkin with a big uppercut that had the crowd in a frenzy. I remember that. I remember him winning the world title against Sean Porter. I remember him knocking out what's his name? What's the guy's name? Mark DeLuca. I remember him knocking him out with a jab. I remember him starching Sergey Rabchenko. I remember the obviously he ended it off on a great note, but the Amir Khan fight, I think, is the perfect way to go out. The Amir Khan Kell Brook rivalry was so big. It was a fight that British boxing fans had longed for a long time, and even some people in America like myself, when that fight got announced, I was over the moon about it, because there was never going to be a question about what if they fought. And not only did they fight, Kell Brook dominated Amir Khan. I mean, it was one of the most dominant performances in any main event, any big time fight I've seen in a long time. And he really, really showed who was the better fighter. I know people are going to say Khan was past it, but Brook was past it. They're both past it. So it was a fight that happened at the right time, I guess. Not the best time, but the right time for both fighters. And Kell Brook proved that he was a better man. So I'm going to remember Kell Brook as a guy, when it's all said and done, and it is all said and done now, I'm remembering him as a guy that was one of the true warriors of this sport. Like, for example, I don't think he should have ever fought Golovkin, but he did, and he got his eye socket broken. And look, he could have vacated the IBF title, because Earl Spence was mandatory, and Earl Spence Jr. was a very, very dangerous, undefeated young contender at the time. He was well within his right to say, you know what, this is a sharp weight cut. I got my eye socket broken. I'm not going to fight this guy. But you know what he did? You know what Kell Brook did? Kell Brook had so much respect for the world title that he won, the IBF championship that he won. He said, you know what? No, I'm not going to drop this belt. I'm not going to give away for free what I worked for so hard. So I'm going to cut this weight. I'm going to get down. I'm going to fight Earl Spence. Now, the fight didn't go the way he wanted it to go, okay? But the principle of the matter is, he behaved like a fighter. He didn't run away from the challenges. When it came time to fighting Crawford, a lot of guys didn't want to fight Crawford, right? Eddie Hearn wouldn't even get in the Crawford fight. He wanted to fight Crawford so badly that he made it happen himself and went to Bob Arum and talked to him and got it to happen. Now, again, that didn't turn out his way. Also, Crawford starched him too. But the fact that he had that ambition, that he wanted to fight Crawford, it shows you what kind of man he is. When we look at the resume, he fought Sean Porter, he fought Spence, Golovkin, Crawford, Khan, Rabchenko, good little win. Mark DeLuca, okay, a solid win. Carson Jones, a good resume, man. He fought the who's who of his time. In my opinion, Kell Brook we're never gonna have to ask the question of how good was Kell Brook. We can ask the question of how good he could have been if he was managed more properly. But we know that he was a good fighter. We know he was a world champion. But he left no stones unturned. He was willing to take on the best fighters, and you know what? For that, he's always been one of my favorite fighters in the sport. Probably one of the only fighters in the sport that I never met that I still want to meet myself, because I'm a huge fan. But with that being said, Kell Brook, I appreciate you for all the good memories, especially the Khan fight. Enjoy retirement. Enjoy your millions and millions and millions of pounds that you made over your career. Spend your time with your family, and hopefully you find somewhere special and things that keep you occupied in life after boxing, because I know that could be very, very difficult for a fighter when they retire, finding that next phase of their life. So yeah, special one. Shout out to you, Sheffield's very own. Much love from your boy BT here at True School Sports. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What's your favorite Kell Brook memory, and how will you remember Kell Brook? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.